What kind of person accuses a teenager of faking a disability just to steal a parking spot? That's the question I kept asking myself when our HOA treasurer decided to wage war on my daughter, Emma, claiming her chronic pain was a scam because she didn't always lean on a cane. She didn't know she was messing with a family armed with a civil rights lawyer, airtight medical EVY Denke, and a community ready to rally. I'm Laura Bennett, and for 16 years, I've fought for the voiceless in courtrooms. But nothing prepared me to defend my own kid's truth in front of our entire neighborhood. Emma, my 16-year-old, is a firecracker, sharp, funny, and battling spinal instability and chronic pain after a brutal bike accident 2 years ago. We moved to Pinewood Grove in Atlanta 6 months back to be near the top-notch specialists at Emory Medical Center. Emma's condition is what doctors call an invisible disability. On good days, she's out there, swimming at the community pool or strolling to a friend's house, looking like any other teen. On bad days, she's tethered to a cane or a wheelchair, her face tight with pain she tries to hide. That unpredictability? It's part of the deal. But it became a weapon in the hands of Cynthia Wells, Pinewood Grove's HOA treasurer and self-proclaimed guardian of fairness. Cynthia, mid-50s, always looked like she stepped out of a country club, perfectly pressed blouses, silver-streaked hair pinned just so, her face a mask of suspicion. She'd ruled the HOA like a queen since MOVYing here 15 years ago, her husband's tech fortune POVYing her way. Trouble started when I applied for a disabled parking spot for Emma. I sent in all the paperwork, including Emma's state-issued permit. The board approved it, but Cynthia? She was the lone, no, vote. A week later, an email landed in my inbox demanding extra proof of Emma's disability. As a lawyer, I smelled trouble. That request wasn't just nosy, it was skating on illegal. I fired back, citing the Americans with Disabilities Act and Fair Housing Act, politely explaining that Emma's permit was enough. I figured that'd shut it down. I was dead wrong. Memorial Day weekend, the real drama kicked off. Emma was HOVYing a rare good day, swimming laps at the pool her physical therapist's orders. I was grading legal briefs under an umbrella when Cynthia's shadow loomed over me. Fascinating to see Emma so energetic, she said, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. Hard to believe she needs that special parking. I squinted up at her. Her condition varies, Cynthia. That's normal for spinal injuries. She smirked. My cousin's an insurance adjuster. Says fraud like this costs millions. I kept my cool. Emma's disability is verified by specialists. Thanks for your concern, though. Her eyes glinted. I've seen her walking fine. Last Tuesday, she carried a backpack from your car. I repeated. Some days are better. She tossed out a "how convenient" and sauntered off, but not before I caught her snapping photos of Emma in the pool of our parking spot. My stomach twisted. She wasn't just skeptical, she was building a case. For weeks, Cynthia was everywhere, like a hawk circling prey. She'd linger when Emma took short walks, jotting notes when she skipped the cane, photographing her laughing with her friend Mia Chin. Neighbors started whispering. Emma noticed. Mom, she said one night, her voice small. Mrs. Wells told Mrs. Larson we're milking the system. What's that mean? I hugged her, feeling her wince from pain she didn't want to admit. It means she doesn't get chronic illness, honey. She's spreading her ignorance. But Emma shrank back, avoiding the outdoors. Everyone's staring, she whispered. I was furious, but as a lawyer, I knew Cynthia hadn't crossed the legal line yet. Then I got a tip from Mia's mom, Sarah Chin. Over coffee, she dropped a bomb. You don't know about Cynthia's son? She asked. Apparently, years back, her son had been caught in a disability fraud scheme claiming benefits while working cash jobs. It tanked his career and left Cynthia paranoid about fakers. Suddenly, her obsession with Emma made sense. This wasn't about a parking spot, it was her projecting her family's shame onto my kid. The breaking point came at the June HOA meeting. I wasn't planning to go, deadlines were crushing me, but Emma's neurologist, Dr. Michael Lee, rescheduled her appointment, freeing my evening. Call it fate. The meeting was in the community clubhouse, a stuffy room with creaky chairs and a flickering projector. About 30 neighbors sat scattered as Cynthia launched into her treasurer's report. After droning about budgets, she shifted gears. "I need to address a troubling trend," she said, her voice heavy with fake concern. "As treasurer, I ensure our resources are used fairly." She clicked to a slide. "Amenity abuse prevention." My lawyer senses screamed. She went on. "We've seen a spike in accommodation requests. While we support legitimate needs, we must guard against fraud." The room tensed. Everyone knew who she meant. Then it got worse. She clicked to a slidea collage of photos of Emma. Emma swimming. Emma walking without her cane. Emma laughing with Mia. All snapped without our consent. The room went dead silent. Rage burned in my chest, but I'd learned to turn anger into precision. I raised my hand. "Are you sharing surveillance photos of my minor daughter without permission?" Cynthia blinked, caught off guard. "These are public observations showing a pattern." I stood, walking to the front. "A pattern of what? Are you a doctor? Have you reviewed Emma's records? Examined her?" She stammered. I pressed. "You're inches from defamation, not to mention violating the Fair Housing Act, ADA, and Georgia privacy laws." The HOA president, a jittery guy named Tom Reynolds, tried to cut in. "Maybe we table this." "No," I snapped. "Cynthia made this public. I'm responding now." I faced the room. "My daughter has complex regional pain syndrome and spinal instability from a traumatic accident. Her symptoms fluctuate. Some days she's okay, others she's not. This is documented by MRI specialists." I stared at Cynthia. "If you doubt our accommodation, let's have a formal hearing with real evidence, not sneaky photos." Tom jumped at the idea. "Yes, a hearing. Cynthia, you can present your case officially." Her face reddened, but she nodded. "I have plenty of evidence." As the meeting droned on, my phone buzzed. A text from Mia. "I have video of Mrs. Wells harassing Emma at the pool. Want it?" I grinned. The tide was turning. The hearing was set for the next Thursday. I prepped like it was a Supreme Court case, gathering Emma's records, treatment plans, and research on invisible disabilities. Dr. Lee VYD about the situation, agreed to testify. "This is why patients with invisible conditions suffer quietly," he said. "Provying their pain is a second burden." Emma was nervous. "Do I have to go, Mom? I don't want them judging if I look disabled enough." I hugged her. "Your call, sweetheart. This is about your rights, not a show." She chose to attend but stay silent. "I want them to see me as a person," she said, wise beyond her years. The hearing night arrived. The clubhouse was packed, 50 neighbors, buzzing with gossip. The board sat up front, Tom, Cynthia, and 3 others. Emma, in her wheelchair after a rough therapy session, sat beside me. Dr. Lee arrived with his laptop. Mia and her parents gave us thumbs-ups. Tom explained the format, Cynthia first, then me. Cynthia strode to the podium, armed with a folder and USB drive. Her 20-minute presentation was a masterclass in obsession, dozens of photos of Emma walking, swimming, sitting without aids. "This pattern," she concluded, "suggests either Emma's condition isn't severe or it's exaggerated for special privileges." Murmurs rippled. Some nodded, others squirmed. My turn. I hooked up my laptop, took a breath, and channeled 20 years of courtroom grit. "Thank you for letting me respond. Let's start with a key concept, invisible disability." I showed a slide defining ETA condition, not obvious but limiting, like chronic pain or neurological issues. "Before I tackle Cynthia's claims, here's a video." I played Mia's footage from the pool. Cynthia's voice rang out. "Impressive swimming for someone who needs special parking." Emma's quiet reply. "My doctor says swimming helps on good days." Cynthia's sneer. "Conveniently a good day when people are watching." The clip ended with her loud aside to another resident about entitled teens and pushy parents. The room froze. I turned to them. This is harassment, fueled by ignorance about Emma's condition. I nodded to Dr. Lee. He stood, introducing himself as Emory's neurology chief. For 15 minutes, he broke down Emma's diagnosis, how symptoms ebb and flow, why active VY is encouraged on good days, why consistent accommodations matter. Denying Emma's parking spot because she has good days, he said, is as absurd as forcing her to use a cane when she doesn't need it just to prove her disability. Cynthia whispered furiously to Tom, who looked like he wanted to bolt. She hadn't expected a heavyweight like Dr. Lee. I took over. Now let's talk about Cynthia's EVUI denke. I showed one of her photos, Emma walking at 10:30 a.m. on May 15 next to Emma's pain journal, noting a 3/10 pain level that morning, spiking to 8/10 by night. Cynthia's snapshots missed the full picture: the days Emma couldn't get out of bed, the evenings pain hit hard, the flare-ups from pushing too far. I clicked to my final slide. And they definitely don't show this. Emma's recent MRI filled the screen: curved spine, inflamed tissue, pressure points glaring in red. Dr. Lee stepped up. This MRI, taken 2 weeks ago, confirms Emma's condition. These abnormalities drive her symptoms ups and downs. The room was a tomb. Cynthia's face drained of color. I softened my voice. I didn't want to share Emma's private medical details. But when her honesty was attacked publicly, I had no choice. I faced the board. I'm not here to punish Cynthia. I just want Emma's accommodation upheld and this harassment stopped. After a quick huddle, the board voted 5-0 to keep our parking spot and issued a formal apology. Tom announced a new committee to draft privacy and accommodation rules. As people filed out, Cynthia sat glued to her chair, her folder of EVY denke, now a cruel relic. I approached with Emma wheeling beside me. Cynthia, I said softly, I get that your son's fraud case might have made you sensitive to this. But Emma's not your son. Punishing her won't undo your pain. Her eyes widened. How did you? Emma cut in, her voice steady. Mrs. Wells, I don't expect you to know what my body feels like. But instead of thinking I'm faking on good days, maybe just be glad I have them. We left her there, her crusade in tatters. The fallout was swift. Cynthia quit the board, citing personal reasons. The new disability guidelines were thoughtful, emphasizing education. Neighbors opened up about their own hidden struggles: lupus, fibromyalgia, POTs, forming a support group in the clubhouse. Emma, despite her shyness, became a quiet hero. Kids with chronic illnesses admired her. Teens asked for advice. 3 months later, Cynthia emailed May a short, raw apology. She'd been scarred by her son's fraud, she admitted, and had taken it out on Emma. She was taking a chronic pain course at Emory and wanted to talk, not for forgiveness, but to learn. I let Emma decide. After thinking it over, she agreed to meet at a coffee shop, with me there. That meeting was tense but real. Cynthia mostly listened as Emma described the sting of good days being weaponized against her. The hardest part, Emma said, isn't the pain. It's proving it's real. Cynthia nodded, eyes soft. I never saw that burden. I added, now imagine being 16, juggling that judgment with Dr. VY sits and just wanting to be a kid. By the end, there was no hug, but a quiet respect. Cynthia even attended Emma's talk on invisible disabilities at a local school. That talk sparked Emma's nonprofit, Making the Unseen Seen, now changing policies at schools and businesses with my legal know-how and Dr. Lee's expertise. Our HOA's guidelines became a national model for disability inclusion. But I often think, what about families without a lawyer mom or an Emory doctor? That's why I take pro bono cases now, fighting for those accused of faking invisible disabilities. Emma still has good days and bad. She still uses different aids. But now, when neighbors see her walking unaided, they don't whisper. They smile, happy she's got a good day. And that's the win that matters most.